Hello and welcome into all of my home buyers. This is Sharon Lakeen with Avery Hess Realtors, and today we're going to talk about the walkthrough. So what is the walkthrough? You have done everything up to this point to get to closing on your home, and now it's the day before, usually the day of, somewhere in the 7-day window between closing and anyway, 7 days up to closing, you have the right to go back into the home and go ahead and do your walkthrough and make sure that everything looks good. So what are you looking for? You are looking to make sure that all of the repairs that you and the seller agreed upon during the home inspection process have been completed. You should have, prior to this point, received invoices, proof that the work was done, pictures, things like that. So you know that the stuff was done, but now you want to go see for yourself. You want to put your eyes on it and make sure that that work is done and that they didn't do a bad job on it. For instance, I had a home once where the seller was to fix an outspout on the side of the house because there was a gap between the pipe coming out of the house and the siding. That gap is a primary place where bugs, mice, anything like that can get into the house. It could allow for water intrusion in the house. So we asked for that gap to be sealed. Well, the gap was not really sealed. I mean, they put some stuff there, but it didn't really seal the gap. So we had the opportunity, this is where you have the opportunity to make sure those things are done and done correctly. So we had the opportunity to go ahead and have the seller get back out there, have their contractor get back out there and correct that so that it was properly sealed. So things like that. You want to take the opportunity, now that you verified that all of the items the seller said they were going to fix have been fixed. Now I do what I call like my mini home inspection with my buyers. So we're going to walk through the home. We're going to test the lights. We're going to test the stove, the microwave, make sure the refrigerator is working, run the hot water, flush the toilets, all of those things that we can possibly do. The air conditioned heating system, anything that you can do to check all of the systems to make sure they're still in working order, the way that they were when you made the contract on the house and did your home inspection. So you want to make sure all of those things are still working. If not, again, you have the opportunity to get it fixed before you sign on the dotted line and accept that as your new home. You also want to make sure that they've left everything they said they were going to leave, and they haven't taken stuff that you didn't know they were going to take or whatever. You may be surprised and drive up to your home and there was a wonderful tree in the side of the yard that is now no longer there. And you're like, what the heck? Why is that tree gone and there is a big hole in the ground? Well, the sellers planted that tree in memory of a loved one and they're taking it with them. Well, that's really not acceptable if it was not in the contract. So you have time to make amends here and get the seller to possibly give you a credit or something like that to take care of that, because you obviously don't want to come to the house and have a hole in the yard when you buy the home, and that's not what you expected to buy. You want to make sure that they've left the appliances they said they were going to leave. Anything like that, anything that was agreed upon in the contract, you want to make sure is there. You want to make sure that they haven't left you any surprises, like a purple stain on the carpet, for instance, underneath the couch that you never saw until they finally moved out. You want to make sure that they haven't left any huge holes. Maybe they were moving furniture out and somebody banged and knocked a hole in the drywall. Well, that's not acceptable either. They need to get that repaired before you sign on the dotted line and make that your home. So these are just, the major things that you want to check for when you're doing your walkthrough. I hope that's some helpful information for you. Keep in mind, you're signing on the bottom line at closing and accepting the house in the condition that it is. I also tell folks, if I have the opportunity, depending on what time you're doing your walkthrough, if you're doing it the day before, for instance, if I have the opportunity, I'm going to drive by the home one more time right before closing. Make sure a tree hasn't fallen on the home. Make sure it hasn't caught fire overnight. Make sure there's no flood in the basement if there was bad weather, or, no pipes have burst, things like that. Because once you sign those documents, the home is yours. So you want to make sure that you've checked everything you possibly can to alleviate any last minute concerns or surprises. So again, I hope that's super helpful for you. If you have any questions, drop them below and I will answer them for you. Send me a private email. I'm happy to answer your questions that way as well. And all my information is scrolling above here. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. Come back and get some more information on the home buying and selling process. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.